Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? What we're going to talk about right now are food substitutions. I feel that having food substitutions play a essential role in our lives. They provide us with a means of sustenance when we aren't able to eat a regular diet. In many cases, they also allow us to enjoy familiar flavors and textures when we cannot consume certain foods. And food substitutes are often used when someone is trying to lose weight, they have allergies, they're following a special diet, or when you simply don't have the ingredient that you need for a recipe. There are different types of substitutes that are available, so it is essential to do your research before making any kind of a decision. And once you have made that decision on a few options, try them to see if they meet your needs and your preferences. One benefit of using food substitutions is that they can help you to save money. Using cheaper alternatives to expensive ingredients, and you can stretch your food budget and make your meals go much farther. Additionally, many substitutions can be made at home with simple ingredients that you may already have on hand, which can further help reduce your food costs. Now, while there are many benefits to using food substitutions, also there are some risks. First, it's essential to remember that not all substitutions are created equal. Some might be higher in calories or higher in sugar than the originals. So it's easier, and essential to just read the labels carefully and choose your substitutions wisely. So what I'm going to ask you now is if you have your prepper notebook out or just a pen and piece of paper, because there are a lot of substitutions that I'm going to talk about right now, and you should write them down, honestly, for your pantry. The first one is baking powder. 1 teaspoon of baking powder can be substituted for a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda plus 1/2 teaspoon of cream of tartar, or a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda plus 1/2 cup of buttermilk. Decrease the liquid in the recipe by 1/2 cup. Vinegar or baking soda, lemon juice and baking soda, plain yogurt, club soda, and baking soda mix. The next thing is baking soda. If for 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 4 teaspoons of baking powder, or 1 teaspoon of potassium bicarbonate, and 1/3 teaspoon of salt. Now, note this: if the recipe calls for an acidic liquid like sour cream or yogurt, buttermilk, vinegar, molasses, citrus juice, you should replace it with the same amount of whole milk. The next thing are breadcrumbs. 1 cup of breadcrumbs can be substituted with 1 cup of cracker crumbs, or 1 cup of matzo meal, or 1 cup of ground oats. The next one is beef broth or chicken broth. 1 cup. 1 cup is equal to 1 bouillon cube plus 1 cup of boiling water, or 1 tablespoon of soy sauce plus enough water to make 1 cup, or 1 cup veggie broth. The next one is brown sugar. 1 cup of packed brown sugar can be substituted with 1 cup of white sugar plus a 1/4 cup of molasses, and decrease the liquid in the recipe by 1/4 cup, or by 1 cup white vinegar, or 1 1/4 cups of confectioner sugar. The next one is salted butter. 1 cup of salted butter can be substituted with 1 cup of margarine, or 1 cup of shortening plus 1/2 teaspoon of salt, or 7/8 of a cup of vegetable oil plus 1/2 teaspoon salt, or 7/8 of a cup of lard plus 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now for unsalted butter, for 1 cup, 1 cup of shortening, or 7/8 cup of vegetable oil, or 7/8 cup of lard. The next one is buttermilk. 1 cup of buttermilk can be substituted for 1 cup of yogurt, or 1 tablespoon of lemon juice or vinegar plus enough milk to make 1 cup. The next thing is cheddar cheese. 1 cup of shredded cheddar can be substituted by a cup of shredded Colby, or a cup of shredded Monterey, and those are, I guess, have like similar tastes, if you will. So the next thing is a chicken base. 1 tablespoon of chicken base can be substituted. 1 cup canned or homemade chicken broth or stock, reduce the liquid in the recipe by 1 cup. The next thing is semi-sweet chocolate, 1 ounce. 1 ounce of square or of unsweetened chocolate plus 4 teaspoons of sugar, or 1 ounce semi-sweet chocolate chips plus 1 teaspoon of shortening. The next one is unsweetened chocolate for 1 ounce. You can substitute it with 3 tablespoons unsweetened cocoa plus 1 tablespoon of shortening or vegetable oil. The next thing is cocoa. A 1/4 cup of cocoa can be substituted with 1 ounce square unsweetened chocolate, condensed cream. The next thing is condensed cream of mushroom soup. So if you don't have the can of condensed cream of mushroom soup, you can use condensed cream of celery, cream of chicken, or cream of golden mushroom soup. The next thing is corn syrup. 1 cup of corn syrup can be substituted with 1 1/4 cup of white sugar plus 1/3 cup of water, or a cup of honey, or a cup of light, of treacle syrup. I don't think I'm saying that correctly. TREACLE. The next thing is cottage cheese. 1 cup of cottage cheese can be substituted with a cup of farmer's cheese or a cup of ricotta cheese. Now half and half. A cup of half and half can be substituted with 7/8 cup of milk plus a tablespoon of butter. Heavy cream can be substituted with a cup of evaporated milk, a 3/4 cup of milk plus a 1/3 cup of butter, cottage cheese, and whole milk. Cream, light cream, can be substituted with a cup of evaporated milk or 3/4 cup of milk plus 3 tablespoons of butter. Coconut cream, milk and cornstarch, Greek yogurt with milk. The next thing is whipped cream. 1 cup of whipped cream can be substituted with a cup of frozen whipped topping, thawed out. Cream of tartar. Cream of tartar can be substituted with 1 teaspoon, can be substituted with 2 teaspoons of lemon juice or vinegar. The next thing is eggs. Now there's a lot that you can substitute eggs with, okay? So 1 whole egg, okay? You could substitute it with 2.5 tablespoons of powdered egg substitute plus 2.5 tablespoons of water, or a 1/4 cup of liquid egg substitute, or a 1/4 cup of silken tofu pureed, or 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise, or a half a banana mashed with half teaspoon of baking powder, or 1 tablespoon powdered flax seeds soaked in 3 tablespoons of water. Applesauce, arrowroot powder and water. Aquafaba equals what that is the leftover liquid that you find in a can of beans. For those looking for egg substitute that can also be used in meringue pies, aquafaba is known to be used for this purpose, and it's also vegan as well. So for every egg, use a 1/4 cup of carbonated water, 3 tablespoons of boiling water plus 1 tablespoon of chia seed or 2 teaspoon ground chia seed. Mix together and let it sit for about 15 minutes. This equals to 1 egg. Unflavored gelatin can also be used for a substitute as well, of powdered instead of the ones with the flavoring. Okay, please don't use the ones with the flavoring. For each egg that you need, use a mixture of 1 tablespoon of gelatin, 1 tablespoon of water. Mashed potatoes also provide a texture and an instant moisture that is similar to that of an egg due to the potato starch. And for each egg that a recipe calls for, a 1/4 cup of mashed potatoes or 2 tablespoons of instant mashed potatoes can be used to rehydrate it. 3 tablespoons of nut butter, non-crunchy, for every egg that you'll need. Silken tofu adds the thick texture that you're looking for when you go to prepare your favorite brownies or your chocolate chip like pie recipe. And for every egg that the recipe calls for, use a 1/4 cup of whipped or mashed silken tofu. So the next thing is fats for baking. 1 cup of fats for baking can be substituted for a cup of applesauce or 1 cup of fruit puree. Bread flour can be substituted with a pea flour plus a teaspoon of wheat gluten. Cake flour can be substituted for a pea flour minus 2 tablespoons. Then you have self-rising flour. 1 cup of that can be substituted with 7/8 cup of AP flour plus 1½ teaspoons of baking powder and ½ teaspoon of salt. Garlic, 1 clove can be substituted for 1/8 of a teaspoon of garlic powder or ½ teaspoon of granulated garlic or ½ teaspoon of garlic salt, reduced salt in recipe. Gelatin, that can be substituted for agar. Honey can be substituted with 1 1/4 cup of white sugar plus 1/3 cup of water, or 1 cup of corn syrup or 1 cup of light treacle syrup. Hot pepper sauce can be substituted with cayenne pepper plus vinegar. Lard can be substituted for shortening, or 7/8 cup of vegetable oil or 1 cup of butter. Lemon juice can be substituted with vinegar, white wine, or lime juice. Margarine can be substituted with shortening plus salt or butter, or 7/8 cup of vegetable oil plus ½ teaspoon of salt, or 7/8 cup lard plus ½ teaspoon of salt. Mayonnaise can be substituted with sour cream or plain yogurt. Milk can be substituted with soy milk, or 1 cup of rice milk, or 1 cup of water or juice, or 1/4 cup of dry milk powder plus a cup of water, or 2/3 cup of evaporated milk plus 1/3 cup of water. Molasses can be substituted with brown sugar and cream of tartar. Mustard, prepared mustard, can be substituted with, if you mix these together, a tablespoon of dry mustard, a teaspoon of water, a teaspoon of vinegar, and a teaspoon of sugar. Now, white rice can be substituted with cooked barley, cooked bulgur, or cooked brown rice or wild rice. Ricotta can be substituted with dry cottage cheese or silken tofu. Sour cream can be substituted with plain yogurt, or 1 tablespoon of lemon juice or vinegar plus enough cream to make 1 cup or 3/4 cup buttermilk mixed with 1/3 cup of butter. Soy sauce can be substituted with Worcestershire sauce mixed with a tablespoon of water, and vegetable oil for baking can be substituted with applesauce or fruit puree. Vegetable oil for frying can be substituted with lard or vegetable shortening. Vinegar can be substituted with lemon or lime juice, or 2 teaspoons of white wine. White sugar can be substituted with brown sugar, or 1 1/4 cup of confectioner sugar, or 3/4 cup of honey, or 3/4 cup of corn syrup. Active dry yeast, 1 package, can be substituted with 1 cake compressed yeast, or 2½ teaspoons of active dry yeast, or 2½ teaspoons of rapid rise yeast. And yogurt. Yogurt can be substituted with sour cream or buttermilk or sour milk. So I hope this helps, because this video came as request. And I know that a lot of times, especially when we ever come into, a place where we all we have is what we have in our pantries, if you know what I mean. And we don't have that specific ingredient. Well, then I hope you can look back on the notes that you just made and make a substitute, okay, specifically for like sour cream or half and half or whipped cream or whatever the case may be, okay? All right, guys, I'm out of here. I will see you in the next one. You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping, and as always, fearless.